Hey guys, it's Mrs. Klein.
And Mr. Creighton.
And we are here today for your second podcast for Chapter 2, Lesson 2. It's entitled The Decline and Fall of the Empire. I want to remind you guys that it's always a really good idea for you to be able to have out your history book. You're going to find this information on pages 53 through 56. You should also have those podcast note sheets out so that you can be, once again, making that study guide that you're going to use when we have our unit test. So I want to remind you guys that in the last section in our first podcast, we read about or learned about the expansion of Roman power and the growth of Christianity. And in this lesson, we're going to learn about the causes of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. So once again, this section you guys really want to pay attention to because we've talked to you guys already about what your first performance assessment is going to be, that eulogy you're going to write about Rome. And this lesson highlights some of the reasons or some of the things that led to the fall of Rome as an empire. So really be paying close attention to this. Okay. So we want for you guys to make sure that you are paying very close attention because it's going to help you when you do your podcast. Well, not only your podcast quiz, but also your performance assessment.
So like Ms. Klein said, you guys are going to have a podcast quiz tomorrow. Hopefully not today. It doesn't mean you listen to it in the morning. But there are two key terms and names we want you guys to know. The first is Constantine, and the second is Clovis. And remember, once you hear this sound, it means that you heard a term and name. Continuing on with our last podcast, we talked about the big idea and essential questions. The big idea for this unit: the influence of an empire often lives on even after that empire falls or declines. Now we're going to take a look at our 5 essential questions. The first one, does power equal influence?
Essential question number 2, how do empires become powerful and influential?
The third essential question, what internal and external factors lead to the downfall of empires?
Number 4, what remains or lives on after an empire falls or declines?
And finally, what is the primary reason for the fall of Rome?
All right, so the first section in this lesson, you guys, is internal weaknesses threaten Rome. Be thinking about this question, what internal problems weakened the Roman Empire? And you're going to find this information on pages 53 and 54 in your book. Okay, late in the 2nd century, Rome stopped expanding and adding new lands. Without new conquests, the empire had no new sources of wealth. In time, the government faced serious economic problems. It lacked the money to pay for the army and other expenses of running a large empire. As a result, Roman officials had to raise taxes. This made life harder for many citizens.
Other aspects of Roman society suffered as well. Higher education became too costly for many Romans. In addition, distributing news across a large empire became harder. As a result, people grew less informed about government and public affairs.
Okay, in addition to that, you guys, agriculture also declined. Constant war and overuse of farmland ruined farmland. Harvests yielded fewer crops. The use of slavery added to the problem. The Romans used many slaves as farm workers, and this kept the Romans from making improvements in technology that might have led to better harvests. As Roman agriculture grew worse, diseases and hunger spread and the population declined.
The Roman Empire also faced military and political problems. Roman soldiers became less willing to follow orders and less loyal to the government. Average citizens also became less loyal and less involved in public life. In earlier times, Roman citizens were active in government and public affairs. Some Roman leaders became more interested in getting rich than in public service. As a result, many citizens lost their pride and trust in government. All of these problems weakened the empire. So the question you guys should be able to answer in your head, what problems weakened the empire?
Okay, moving on, you guys, to the next section. You're going to find this on pages 54 and 55 in your book. Okay, Rome divides into East and West. Okay, again, you want to be able to answer this question when we get to the end of this lesson or be thinking about this as you're listening. What changes did Rome undergo? Okay, despite Rome's many problems, 2 strong emperors kept the empire going for another 200 years. The Emperor Diocletian divided Rome into eastern and western parts. You guys, I want for you, I'm a language arts, used to be a language arts teacher, so I want to give you a mnemonic device to help you with this. Diocletian, D-I, it's the same 2 letters that begin divides. It's going to help you remember what Diocletian did. He divided Rome into eastern and western parts. This made the empire easier to govern. Constantine succeeded Diocletian as emperor. He made two decisions that changed the empire. First, in AD 313, he ended attacks on Christians. By allowing Christians to work freely, he helped Christianity grow. In AD 330, Constantine moved the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome in the west to the Greek city of Byzantium farther to the east. After the move, the city became known as Constantinople. And today, you're going to find that city on a map, but it's known as Istanbul in Turkey. The new capital signaled a shift in power from the western part of the empire to the east. Okay, again, you should be able to answer this question in your head. What changes did Constantine make to the Roman Empire?
All right. The third and final section is known as the fall of the Roman Empire. You can find this on pages 55 and 56, and the question we want you guys to think about as you guys are listening is, how did Rome fall? Rome faced many internal problems. The empire also faced threats from foreign invaders. During the late 300s, many Germanic peoples lived outside of Rome's borders, and they invaded Roman lands. Most of the invasion occurred in the Western Roman Empire. The invading groups came for many reasons. Some wanted better land or wealth. Others were fleeing a group of Asian invaders known as the Huns. In 476, Germanic tribes conquered Rome. This conquest signaled the end of the Western Roman Empire.
In the years that followed, the remaining areas of Roman power in the west fell. In 486, Clovis, the leader of a Germanic group known as the Franks, conquered the rest of the Roman land in the province of Gaul. This area consists of present-day France and Switzerland. Clovis founded a Frankish kingdom that grew large and powerful.
While the western half of the Roman Empire fell, the eastern half survived for another 1,000 years. It became known as the Byzantine Empire. The question we want you guys to be able to answer in your heads: what key event took place in 476?
Now, also just want to let you guys know that the next lesson that we're going to be getting into is all about the early Byzantine Empire. So we're going to learn about what happened in the eastern part of the Roman Empire after the western half fell. Okay, guys, this is Mrs. Klein logging off.
And Mr. Creighton, later.